Juliette Touma is Director of Communications at UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, joins us now from Amman in Jordan. Juliette, so while we've got reports of 19 people starving to death in a population that's under Israeli siege, your organisation has enough food to feed Gaza for 3 months, but just sitting outside of Gaza, not allowed to bring that food in. Is that right?
Yes, Sami, good to speak to you. Look, we have 6,000 trucks loaded with food, with medicines, with hygiene supplies there here in Jordan and also in Egypt. We're just waiting for the green light to get in and distribute to people through UNRWA teams. People in Gaza, including our own staff, are fainting due to starvation and severe hunger.
Talk us through, for those, I understand UNRWA is banned by the Israelis, right? So they don't allow you to bring any supplies in, although you have 10,000 employees still inside Gaza. You have the food on trucks, but you're banned, right? That they will not allow you to operate.
Well, yes, there's been legislation against the agency, against UNRWA, the largest humanitarian organization across the occupied Palestinian territory, including in Gaza. And that came into effect 6 months ago, which meant that international staff of UNRWA are not getting visas anymore to go to Gaza or the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem. We do, however, as you rightly say, have 10,000 people working for UNRWA staff in Gaza. They're holding the fort for the agency, keeping our shelters open for the displaced. They're the doctors and nurses in our clinics and medical points. They are our drivers. They distribute whatever is left in terms of hygiene supplies and other basic supplies. But the issue is that we have 6,000 trucks waiting outside for the green light, and we're banned from bringing anything in. We have been for 4.5 months now.
For those organizations which still are allowed, at least on paper, to bring aid into Gaza, talk us through the process, the restrictions, the hurdles, the bureaucratic requirements that impede aid delivery into Gaza.
Well, that's it. It's become totally unnecessarily complex and cumbersome for what should have been a straightforward humanitarian operation. And we do this around the world, but we also have done this in Gaza during the ceasefire, Sami, just earlier this year. UNRWA and other humanitarian organizations, we were bringing in and distributing to people in need directly 500 to 600 trucks loaded not only with food, because we keep saying the people of Gaza need more than food. They also had medicines and medical supplies for hospitals and fuel and hygiene supplies. I mean, people have run out of the very basic sanitary pad for women and girls, as an example. We had this father who told UNRWA that he had to cut one of his last shirts just to give his daughters sanitary pads.
Those sorts of stories are happening, Juliette, as well as the reports of 19 people dying within 24 hours because of starvation. All of that, we should remember, is going on while there is this notorious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, organization which Israel presented as this is the solution to, quote unquote, the problem. What they claimed was Hamas stealing aid. In all of your years of operating, did you ever see any evidence that there was a problem of Hamas fighters stealing the aid?
No, we haven't. We've heard these claims multiple times, but these claims have never been substantiated, let alone proven. All we're saying is that it's time for a ceasefire. It's time to let the UNRWA trucks go in. It's time for us to distribute to people in need. Dozens of children have already died due to malnutrition, according to our latest assessments. 1 in every 10 children under the age of 5 screened in UNRWA clinics is malnourished. This is happening in the 21st century at the world's watch. If this is not a disgrace, what is this?
So then you've got to wonder, is this so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation addressing a problem if you've never seen any evidence of it, or is it creating new problems? In the words of one of the UN officials, Jonathan Whittle, who was quoted in the Washington Post as saying, "We see a chilling pattern of Israeli forces opening fire on crowds gathering to get food." We didn't have this sort of problem before the GHF was established, did we?
No, we did not. When UNRWA was in the lead distributing humanitarian assistance across 400 distribution points with other humanitarian agencies, we didn't have any of these incidents. This so-called foundation that is supported by both the governments of Israel and the United States is taking lives rather than saving lives. And the situation right now in Gaza is hell on earth. That's what we're having right now. And it can be totally prevented, and it's totally doable if UNRWA and other humanitarian organizations are allowed to do their jobs.
And I mentioned there the quote by Jonathan Whittle. We understand that Israel has decided not to renew his visa after he made those comments to Washington Post. What kind of a chilling effect does that have on UN staff as a whole when deciding whether they can speak out about what's happening there?
Well, a colleague from OCHA might be the last person to not be given a visa to do his work and serve the communities, but he's certainly not the first. Over the past 650 days, we've had several senior UN officials banned from going into Gaza, including the head of UNRWA, Philippe Lazzarini, back in March 2024. And then several others have been banned from going and reporting. And this is doubly gruesome, if you wish, because there is also a ban on the entry of international media. There is a live stream of horrors, however, that we're all getting on our machines. But meanwhile, international media and increasingly senior humanitarian officials are banned from entering Gaza and reporting on the atrocities of the Israeli army.
All right, thanks so much, Juliette Touma, the Director of Communications at UNRWA.
Thank you.